remember the days when someone could be wrong. I remember the days when thinking out loud won't get you shot down. I remember the ways we used to call out, hey, hey, hey. So don't forget to call on me to disagree. So don't forget to call on me to disagree. You now reduce them to the evil you once agreed. You now reduce them to be silenced you once agreed. So
I mean,
forget
right? You would
to
think
call
that
on
that would
me
definitely be mace attractant,
Yes.
to
Yes. I
disagree.
right?
Yeah. Me and Nivik had an interesting conversation
Don't
earlier.
forget
Oh,
Uh,
yeah?
yeah, he wanted to know what my take was on the representative government in the U.S. because
Whoa.
he heard me on Lee the other day saying I don't think that our government is properly representing the people. And
Mhm.
he's like, well, and he wanted to question it a little bit, but we didn't want to like derail Lee's room. So he
Mhm.
asked me to go on the Pangburn in Trav's tavern to talk about
Cool,
it for a
cool.
little while. Yeah.
Right on. And how did you do?
It was a pretty good discussion actually. I think we're in agreement mostly on the corruption of the US
Yeah.
government. Yeah. That it's not what it's supposed to be. And
Right, right.
if it ever did get back to what it was supposed to be, it would be magical, you know?
I mean, yeah, it very well could be, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Um, yeah, wow, that's like a heavier topic than I was like prepared to get into, to be honest with you. But
Oh yeah,
interesting.
we don't have to go into the details. I was just I got a kick out of it that he actually wanted me to go on the Discord to talk about it
Yeah.
instead of just doing it
Yeah.
on call-in. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
So
the Discord server is really good for that because then you can also get people joining in that don't that don't necessarily participate on call-in, so it's like a kind of a different crowd.
exactly. Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Right on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm,
I hope that the Monty Franklin fans show up. I'm not sure that we like have reached a lot of people with the announcement of the show, but we'll see what we can do and we'll see how we can satisfy everyone's desire to hang out with Monty and and hear some funny things.
right
Hopefully I
on.
have some questions to inspire.
Yeah, I like an Aussie accent. It's just fun to listen to too.
It is,
So
right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do
I
you want to
totally
talk to
agree.
Chardell? I can drop
Sure,
down. Okay.
sure. Yeah, thanks, darling.
Hey Masha,
Hi, how's it going?
how did you manage to get like such a famous comedian on your show? Because normally it's not easy because he's busy and he has his own like schedule and he can come when he can come and other times he can't come and he really
Right.
it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
so how did you get him on here?
Through the absolute magic of the Pangburn Hangout. So it's a brand that opens some doors.
And I really like Monty Franklin and I really love his sketch on Laugh Factory on American accents.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping that we can talk a little bit about that and
Yeah,
about yeah,
and
go ahead.
the thing I like about comedy is that it comes from so many backgrounds. Like there's Australian comedians and Mexican comedians, and it's a variety, which kind of makes it really good because then you get to hear a comedian who who you don't specifically like, and then when you listen to that comedian, you end up liking him. Maybe you go to one of his
Yes.
comedy tours or something to support him and, see what he has to say. So I mean, it's I mean, cuz I heard that you got there was another comedian on here, I believe it was Ali Sadiq, who was one of the comedians from
Yeah, Ali
Comedy
Sadiq,
Central.
yeah.
I believe he was one of them on here. So you know, are you trying to get more comedians on here? Maybe ones that people have heard of, or maybe you have not specifically heard of that comedian before, and you want to get him on here. Maybe ask him
Yeah,
some
I think
questions.
well, we definitely I mean, our booking team is incredible. So, yeah, I think that we're definitely gonna have more comedians on. We'll see how this platform lends itself to that. Like, it would be great. Like, I love a more lighthearted topic once in a while, even though we do end up talking a lot of, like, politics and history and, like, kind of spicy topics, in that sense. But, yeah, it would be great. It'd be great to
I mean, what
to
other
get more
topics
comedians.
are you thinking about discussing on the show? Because you discuss a wide variety of different kinds of topics, from anything, from
Yeah.
politics to anything that you want to talk about. Are you kind of thinking that, there's any other topics you want to talk about, or you're kind of like rolling with the punches and you're kind of like thinking like, is this what I'm going to talk about? Is this what I want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but there's a lot of different broadcasters on Pangburn Hangout. So there's like many of us with varied interests. And I think one of the things that our booking crew likes to do for us is sometimes pair us up with unlikely guests, like someone that maybe we would be challenged by or,
Are you trying to
that
say
that
like
we might push a little bit.
So on Collins, sometimes um, I agree that the topics that are being discussed are kind of uncomfortable for some people. I understand that. Do you kind of keep that in regard that if there's a topic that people feel uncomfortable, you maybe you don't talk about that topic if people feel a little bit they don't feel comfortable with that topic. Maybe you're talking about transgender rights, or maybe you're
Here,
talking about
Shard,
something like.
I'm just gonna have to interrupt you for a moment. Monty is here, so I'm just gonna talk him through coming up to the stage. So feel free to call back again, but for now, I'm just going to remove you so we can go ahead with the show. Thank you
Okay,
so much for calling. So, Monty, if you can accept my invitation to come up and be one of the speakers, that would be the way to get us started. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. So I'm just going to promote you to moderator. And then I think that we'll both be able to share our video. And we can chat, we can hang out. All right. So while Monty is figuring out how to share his video and audio, thank you. Yeah, I'm wearing my good Adidas. Yeah, yeah. Listen, it's the fancy one. It's the special occasion Adidas, right? Yeah, I'm hoping to talk to Monty about how that's properly pronounced because he's one of the few kind of like Anglos that's been able to pronounce it correctly. So, Monty, can we do a quick mic check? Are you able to share audio with us and talk to us, Monty? I'm not sure. I'm not hearing anything. Okay. I see your video. Now we just have to figure out audio. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with my intro and maybe like by the time, yeah. Hello, Malchiki. Welcome to your Auntie M's room on Callin. If you don't already know, Callin is a social podcasting platform where we can stream, have conversations, take questions from the audience, and create meaning together. I'm your host, Masha Yagasdottir, one of many broadcasters on the Pangburn Hangout. We are a loose alliance of superheroes with multifarious abilities, having in common only super curiosity, super dedication to free speech, and super zeal for good faith engagement on all topics, no matter how spicy. Our guest today is Monty Franklin, Australian-born stand-up comedian now based in LA. He tours all over the world opening for Rob Schneider and is currently appearing in Rob's new TV show, Real Rob, on Netflix, about to start its second season. He's also appeared in movies such as The Manny and the series New Girl, one of my faves. So how are we doing on the mic? Still not working? Oh no. Second button from the left on the buttons along the bottom. Not seeing it? There we go. Did you do it? Yeah, I can see that you've unmuted, but for some reason I don't think we're picking up. Yeah, we're not picking up audio. I think you can choose where your audio comes from. Like for me, depends on whether you're on a laptop or like mobile, but there's like, select a different mic on the little triangle. Might have to allow for the app. Okay. Yeah, I have faith in us. I think we can figure it out. Tech support, yeah. Does anyone have any music suggestions? No? Fair enough. So, yeah. Yeah, I was really working hard on some questions. I hope that you like my questions. Please sing Twist by Korn. No. How about no? I think I'm no longer getting I'm no longer getting a video feed from our guest. Not sure. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Oh my god. Okay, Monty, we're getting the advice that you could leave the room and then come back in, and perhaps some of the technology gremlins will somehow have worked out. That is a suggestion.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh yes, yes, I can hear you.
Sorry.
Bravo. You did it.
Yeah, it only took 25 minutes. Genius.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, now we have to like just wash it off. Brand new, fresh energy. Someone's
off
yelling
my
boomer
ignorance.
at you.
Yeah. Someone yelled boomer at me. Fair enough. I'm not that old. I'm a millennial, I think.
You think, no, we don't reveal. Like, this is like an Eastern European show, which means that nobody is ever honest about how old they are.
All right. I'm 11.
It's one of the rules. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I was before you came on, I was bragging about how I wore my good Adidas for this occasion.
That's just
Yeah, I
solid.
mean, velour, right? Like it is as good as a tuxedo. When I was telling our audience how you're one of the few like Westoids that can pronounce Adidas properly.
Yeah, I did a whole video on it because everyone in America thinks I sound ridiculous, and they say Adidas, and that sounds stupid to me. It's Adidas.
Yeah, exactly. It's full stupid. And also how they pronounce Audi. Why they? It's Audi, right? That
No,
Americans say.
I say Audi as well. What do you say? Audi?
Audi. I say Audi, but Americans say Audi, which I think is incorrect.
Audi. No, I don't know. I haven't heard that one too bad, but they do. They say Hyundai, and we say Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Which is,
Yeah. I think you Australians are correct.
and they say Nissan instead of Nissan. And they
Uh-huh.
say Mazda instead of Mazda. Anyway, I could go on. There's thousands of them.
I think one of the things I was gonna talk to you about is how you keep your TikTok so wholesome. Like nobody's mad at you on TikTok or about any of your TikToks. Is it just like a
Well,
lot of Australian word kind of commentary? Is that
it's kind of what I've been doing lately on TikTok and Instagram, and I tend not to be too controversial on social media because, as everyone knows, people on the internet are just idiots. So I just can't be bothered getting involved with it. I actually, a friend of mine said the best way to do social media is to post and ghost. So you post and then you just leave it and don't comment. And in the last sort of 6 months, I don't think I've commented once on anything or read anyone's comments or anything like that. But that's a lie. I read the comments sometimes. I
do you
try
have
not
someone
to.
curate them, or you just like you go in just raw? You're just like,
I
all
don't know.
right,
I just
let me have
sometimes
it.
I go, let's see what people say, and most of it's good, and then you get the odd like, you're an idiot, you're a dork, just go home, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
What's your like most controversial take, or what gets the most negative engagement?
I did one the other day actually that got a lot of sort of interesting comments because I was pointing out things that Australians say that because I live in America, a lot of things that I say get raised eyebrows. If you're ordering a coffee in Australia, you would order a long black. Now, saying that in America raises eyebrows. So I pointed out some of these stupid things that don't make sense to Americans but make sense to Australians, and I think a lot of people were like, you can't say that and this is blah. And I'm like, that's the whole point of why I'm saying it, because it's ridiculous. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I caught that. I caught a lot of your stuff. I don't want you to like just do your stand up for us right now, although like that would be amazing. But like, no, it's okay. I want to tell you. Yeah, no, I know. The Nirvana song that you were looking for on Joe Rogan's podcast is called "Something in the Way."
I know. I thought of
Oh, you know now. Okay.
I know what it is. It's just I think when I was on Rogan's podcast, your brain goes somewhere else. I swear we had a 5-minute conversation. We talked for 3 hours and 20 minutes. And then afterwards I said to him, I go, I have no idea what we talked about. And he said that's usually the best podcasts, when you don't remember and you were just talking absolute nonsense. And I never actually listened to it, so I don't know what I was talking about.
Oh, you never like went back to listen to it?
I listened to little bits and clips that I saw, but I never listened to the whole thing. I just thought I'd let it, be what it was. And I had such a fun time with him. And Joe's been a friend of mine and a mentor and he's just a legend of a person to me. So I knew it was all going to be good. So I just,
Nice. Yeah. Did you get like a contact high from the room, or did you actually smoke weed with him? Because that would have been a bad idea.
No, I can't smoke weed. I don't think I've ever smoked weed properly. I've tried, but I'm not a weed smoker. But we smoked cigars and we had a couple of beers. So yeah, it was a fun, relaxing time, and it was surreal though. There's not a lot of hoo-ha going on. It's the biggest media platform in the world, and it was really just a room with me, him, and Jamie sitting in it and talking nonsense.
The most viewed clip of that episode on YouTube, at least, is the one where basically he's talking them like the whole time about the monk in the self-ossified, self-mummified monk or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm quite sure he talked for most of that podcast, but I remember going in because a lot of people listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, right? And there's intellectuals on, there's politicians, there's there's very informed people, and then every now and then he has comedians like me on, and we just talk a bunch of shit. But it's called the Joe Rogan Experience. So I went in thinking maybe people want to hear a bit more Joe rather than me chiming in and going, you know what I think about, like. So I really just sat back and tried to be a soundboard for Joe and just have fun with it. So I bet you he spoke for 80% of that, which I'm glad he did.
No, I mean, yeah, I think that's what a lot of us like about his podcast is that like you end up regardless of how the conversation goes or what gets talked about, like you end up hearing about a lot of stuff that you never thought you wanted to know about, and leads to all these other rabbit holes. What was the most memorable thing? Like, understanding that it went by in a flash, you might not remember much, but
I was really happy to get the beer that I brought in from Australia, because that's my favourite beer, and you can't buy it in America. And I had my friend send it over to me illegally, and like just in the mail. We didn't know if it was going to come, but it made it. And so I shared a beer with him, which was my favourite beer, Victoria Bitter, which for everyone in Australia, I think when they saw that, it was kind of like, what? How did you get VB on the Joe Rogan Experience? And I was like, I don't know. I figured it out.
Basically admitting to like half-ass smuggling. That's good.
Kind of.
Why not?
A little
Why not?
bit. Hey, it was my friend, really. I just received the smuggling.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really, I think everyone seems to bring him booze. So like, yeah.
Yeah, he gets a lot of stuff brought to him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think people have figured out that like some sort of inebriation is just a good idea to just try and get on the same level with him.
A little bit, not too much. I think some people have gone on there and gone too far, and yeah, I think you still need to keep your wits about you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like Alex Jones. Did you catch that at all?
I didn't see that one, but I'm sure he made an ass of
No,
himself.
it was amazing. Yeah. We're just having a little like technical issue with your mic, just because the feed, it's like a glitchy app thing. So if you want to mute and unmute again, then like your audio should be okay again.
How's that?
Perfect. So I don't know if you saw the room description, but I decided to try and go spicy with it and say that we were going to be talking about how women aren't funny. And I know that that's not your take, but
I can't see description. I'm too stupid. But
no worries.
We can talk about that if you'd like.
Yeah. What's your hot take? Like, just have at her.
What, women aren't funny?
Right.
I don't know. It's a tough one, because I've done stand up for 20 years now, and there is 80%. Let's say 80% of comedians are male, and I talked about this with Joe, and I wondered why. And being in it now and starting with a lot of girls that dropped off and stuff, and the reasons that they did drop off is, in order to be a comedian, you almost have to be selfish. You have to be able to work and travel and go places and not be sort of committed to anyone else for a long time. And most of the women that I started with that are flat out hilarious, there's no denying that women aren't funny. Speak to my mum or my auntie, they're goddamn hilarious. But a lot of these comedians I started with wanted to have families. They wanted to have kids, and they had to make a choice. And I watched a lot of them make this sort of hard choice at around 30, that they're like, I can't keep hanging out in clubs till 2 a.m. doing comedy and blah, blah. I want a family, so I'm going to choose to do this. And I remember thinking, man, it's kind of brutal that the women have to make that decision, because I don't. I mean, it's not, I can just keep staying on the road and everything, as long as I'm, not away from my family for too long, but they don't need me. They need my wife, So it's, I think when people say women aren't funny, that's first of all massively ignorant, because there's funny women everywhere. But is there more funny men out there that are accessible to people? I would say so. And I really think that the reason is because the women that I started with had to make a decision and a choice to either stick with this or have a family. And the ones that have stuck with it and become sort of legendary and stuff, they a lot of them don't have kids. It's kind of sucks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. There's a lot to cover there. One of my questions was Hannah Gadsby or Rebel Wilson. Speaking of like funny Australian female comics.
Oh, Rebel Wilson, without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
Flat out hilarious. She's great. I love Rebel. I knew her a while ago, but I haven't spoken to her in a long time. But she's brilliant. I think she's fantastic. I think her latest movie that she did. Did you see it? Where she went? She had like amnesia. It was.
I love her so
she did
much.
such a great job. She's fantastic. She's really good.
Yeah. I have to say that I love her method of employing cringe, which is like completely like not just self-assured and self-aware, but like owning it 1,000%. Versus, I think that Hannah Gadsby, for me anyway, is a sort of unself-aware cringe that I feel like embarrassed for her, and it's awful.
Yeah.
I just don't want to feel that way in comedy.
Well, I mean, comedy is very subjective. You're going to like certain things and not other things and stuff. And for me, the silly, self-deprecating fun that Rebel brings to her comedy is right up my alley. I just think she's probably one of our best comedic exports that we've produced. She's great, really fantastic.
Yeah. You have some older female comedians, one of whom has like turned corporate, and I'm trying to remember her name. She's kind of getting some flack for like maybe we can come back to that. But when I'm asking one or the other, my next one, Sam Smith or James Corden?
Who's Sam Smith?
All right, you don't know about the performance on the stage, like the super satanic shit, like all the conservatives in the U.S. right now are just like freaking out.
No,
but he's a singer.
I think I figured that, but I didn't know what it would pertain to with him and
what
James
two
Corden.
Brits? Like we just went to England instead of Australia, and you're like, I don't fucking know who these people.
Sam Smith, I know, what did he do? A performance at the Grammys or something? Was that what it was?
Yeah. And he was dressed as the devil, and he had all these models that were similarly like demonic, and there was like an orgiastic sort of, I don't know, like red bathed.
Well, who cares? Ozzy Osbourne ate the head of a bat. Like, people do crazy things. Who cares?
I mean, I don't know who cares. I have no idea why anyone cares or why that was a thing. I think that
if it was good, then do it.
It was good, yeah. No, it's the commentary was so weird. On the one hand, I think the conservatives were very upset about like the sort of satanic themes, and then others were upset about that Sam Smith got fat and decided he was non-binary.
Some people were upset he was dressed like the devil, and some just thought, well, he's a bit overweight for my devil.
Yeah, it was aesthetic was their entire critique.
No, I haven't seen it. I'll take a look and see what I think of his satanic performance. But for me, if you're there's nothing any different than what Kanye does. Some weird stuff. He did some massively weird stuff a few years ago, and I didn't understand what any of it was. But it's all meant to be creative and in the pursuit of something artistic. So.
Yeah, do you think he's a performance artist who's just still performing? Like he just doesn't, there's no line anymore. It's just his life is that.
This is a massive, big performance art his whole life. Remember when Joaquin Phoenix did that? Do you remember when?
Yes, I do. That's why I have no trust anymore.
Then everyone was like, "Oh, he's lost his mind," and then he goes, "Oh, it was just for this documentary I was doing."
Yeah, nothing's real. Like we don't know unless you're in the room with me and I can confirm. Like might be AI just generated to make us think Australians are like super chill and wholesome. I don't know.
Yeah, they're spending millions of dollars on AI to make random Australians that swear a lot.
Listen, I've had weirder thoughts in the wee hours. Okay, Outback Steakhouse or Texas Roadhouse?
Oh, they're both pretty good, to be honest. I know that Outback Steakhouse is essentially just a mockery of my whole culture, but the food there is pretty good. That bread they have at Outback Steakhouse is, whew, it's got honey in it or something. And I tell you what, one day, I tell you, I will sell out and I will do a commercial for Outback Steakhouse for millions of dollars, and I'd be more than happy to do it.
Nice. Is that why you stopped talking shit about the blooming onion? You're like, okay, at me at Outback. We can
I
talk.
had one, and it was good. I still talk shit about it.
Uh.
I've gone into Outback Steakhouse and recorded it and pointed out the stupid things in there, but that's just for fun. It's like the food's all right. As far as
Nice.
food goes in America, you can do way worse than Outback Steakhouse.
Can I get you to just quickly mute and unmute your mic again? Something's happening with the sound just once
me.
more. Yeah, and then I definitely want to talk about food because I cannot believe that an Australian is talking shit about anybody else's food.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I've eaten at Outback Steakhouse a couple of times, enjoyed it, and those Texas Roadhouses are pretty good too. But yeah, you're much better off in a place like that than like a Denny's or an IHOP or what's that one that I was at the other night? The like whatever it was, I can't remember. Awful.
It was that bad. Okay.
Ugh. You know what they are. They're like they stay open 24 hours and they're just horrific. I don't even know if it's real food.
I don't think it's food. I do not.
You remember when they had I can't believe it's not butter and
yeah, because it wasn't butter or food of any kind. Wasn't it an edible oil product or something?
It was. Dogs wouldn't eat it. Like they'd go up and sniff it and go, "Oh, that's not food," because it was like plastic or something. And that's what
it was. Literally that. It was a margarine made from long chain hydrocarbons or polycarbonate, basically like a byproduct of like the petrol industry. Like they got tired of even like changing canola oil into hydrogenated non-food and just were like, fuck it, we'll just like change some of the chemistry.
Yeah,
and
people can put this on bread. It'll be great for everyone's health. And you wonder why there's obesity everywhere. It's funny,
I don't wonder why.
You look at pictures from if you just Google like beach 1970, everyone is there's no obese people. There's none. So trying to point out and say that, oh, you know, this is just how people look, like it's not. It's got to do with the food that everyone's eating that has changed vastly in the last 20, 30 years. And it's changing the shapes of people's bodies. It's pretty bad.
It is. I'm from the Balkans, and so like it's still completely okay to shame somebody for like even gaining a little bit of weight. Like it's a brutal gauntlet when you like see your aunties at any kind of like holiday. They're pinching parts of you, like, oh, you got soft. So yeah, I live in
pardon my ignorance.
Terror.
Where's the Balkans?
So it's the part of like Central Europe that isn't quite Eastern Europe and like problematic Slavia, okay. Nor is it, you know, North Africa or sort of like Greece and Lebanon and like problematic, you know, pseudo Arabia. You know, I'm talking about in the Western imagination.
Yeah,
it's like in the middle.
Well, no, I mean I know it well. I've spent a bit of time in around Eastern Europe and stuff, but it was more Croatia and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's where my family is there right now, living a beautiful life on the seacoast and sending me pictures and complaining about, oh, it's only plus 20 today. We might have to put a sweater on.
Oh yeah, I had a great time there. I think we went to Istria or something like that.
Istria, yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful region. Wow. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I ate a lot of fish. So Australia also has a beautiful cuisine culture, and yet many of my Australian friends do not eat the really good food there.
No, but see, Australia's got a lot of great food, but then people in Australia are also, if you're outside of the city, you've got very limited choice of food. There's probably a pub. There's probably an RSL, which is how do I tell you what an RSL is? It's kind of like it's more like a place where old people hang out, and so you could imagine the kind of food. I actually really like it, but it's not fine cuisine. But if you're in the cities or you're near, like if you're in Sydney and around the Sydney Harbour and stuff, yes, the seafood is incredible. There's all sorts. There's a lot of Thai food in Australia, which is really good, and Indian food, which is great, and Greek and Lebanese food. Like there's a lot of different, because we don't actually have an Australian cuisine really. We kind of just steal stuff from other countries. Like our national dish is a chicken parmigiana, which is Italian, but we kind of made it ours, and the rest of the food is sort of Thai food or Chinese or Japanese or anything like that. So we struggle to have our own unique. It's not like Outback Steakhouse, which would have all of this Australian cuisine. Outback Steakhouse is a steakhouse. It's an American steakhouse.
I imagined, like, as a European, like trying to look at that cuisine, I imagined it would have been like alligator and like kangaroo on like a barbecue, because all I knew of Australia for the longest time was Crocodile Dundee,
Oh
which
yeah.
were the most popular films in Croatia. That was the man. Like he was God. He was like the
Well,
manliest man ever.
it's still to this date is the most profitable Australian movie ever made. I mean, yes, but we loved it too. We love Crocodile Dundee. By the way, we don't think that's something to be shameful of or anything. We love it. Same as we love Steve Irwin. We loved Crikey, the Irwin family and everything. So if you're using the Australian sort of culture and doing it in a fun way, all Australians will embrace it. But if it's done in a silly way, like Kangaroo Jack, I don't know if you ever saw that movie. That was something that we all just went, I like that at. But the fact that Crocodile Dundee I think Crocodile Dundee did more for Australian tourism than anything else has over the last 100 years. And we have to acknowledge that, I think.
Great.
But
I mean,
in saying that, you can. A lot of people eat kangaroo. It's a very popular meat because it's very high in protein, very lean meat, and you buy it from the supermarket. There's a whole section kangaroo meat, stuff like that. Crocodile. There's
are you shitting me?
Alligator. You eat crocodile, but that's very hard to come by. I've eaten it before, but that was I was in the outback and I ate crocodile and kangaroo and I think emu. Maybe I can't remember. But
Wow.
That's harder to come by those sort of meats.
I thought you were shitting me when you said that you could get kangaroo steak in the grocery store. You said?
No, not at all. There's a
That's
whole
real?
section. Yep, kangaroo. You get steaks, sausages. You can just get kangaroo, sort of like a roast, like a big thing. When I was back in Australia, I would eat kangaroo a couple of times a week for sure, because it is a very, very lean and healthy meat. But
Nice.
it's
I'm very anti kangaroos. Ever since I saw that video on I don't remember which social media, of that guy having to beat a kangaroo up for wrestling his dog and trying to choke it out, and then like he was like, "Did you see that one?"
I'm not convinced that was real.
Oh, bummer.
I've looked at that a lot because if you look at it, it's the kangaroo is holding the dog in a very strange fashion that a kangaroo would never really do. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen, but it's very, very strange that the kangaroo would put another animal in a headlock like that.
Okay, but what if he was professionally trained? Hear me
the
out.
Kangaroo was.
Hear me out. No, hear me out. Hear me out. Because in my part of the world, we do train bears to fight like they're wrestlers. And I'm wondering whether in Australia you train kangaroos to fight like they're boxers or like grapplers. And maybe it's a kangaroo that got out of the training program.
Kangaroos are not. You can't train a kangaroo.
All right.
They're wild. They're not that smart. A bear wears a hat and swipes picnic baskets, from what I've heard.
Right.
And kangaroos, Nah, I don't think you could train kangaroos to do anything like that, really. But I just looking at that footage, I'm not sure if they had attached something to the kangaroo so it was stuck on the dog, because it looked to me like the kangaroo was trying to get away. But he did punch it. That looked real.
That's exactly. I was like, yeah, fight that bitch, because I have dogs. I love my dogs. I would definitely fight a kangaroo. That's the least of what I would fight to make sure my dogs are okay.
A dog and a kangaroo. A kangaroo's not going to fight a dog. The dog would be fine, and they're not going to attack a small dog. They're more likely to punch each other up rather than trying to attack a dog. So
okay, fair enough. Thanks for letting me know.
Trying to change your perception of the
I don't have to be anti-kangaroo.
No, they're good. They're good people.
No, you can't say now. Now I have to be against eating them. I mean, if I can anthropomorphize it, because they stand on high legs.
They're good, tasty people. Yeah.
Wow. Listen. Okay. Next question: Robert Pattinson or Daniel Radcliffe?
Oh, Robert Pattinson. Come on.
Just because of Batman, or just like generally?
Well, I met both of them. When I was how old was I? 21. I was living in England, and I worked on the fourth Harry Potter movie, which was The Goblet of Fire, and they were both in that movie. And I met. They came for the filming. I was working on this set for like 6 months, and they came to film for like 3 days. But when they came, they were very, very nice. I only spoke to Daniel for 1 second, but I spoke to Robert Pattinson for like quite a while, because he was that was his first movie. He was young, and he was kind of inexperienced and nervous, and I was just chatting with him, and we were eating at the craft services table together and stuff. And then I maintain, and I said this on the Joe Rogan podcast, that I think he's the best Batman, and a lot of people yelled at me, but I'm going to stick with it. I think that was my favourite Batman movie. I thought it was unreal. And don't get me wrong, I love Harry Potter, and I watch them probably once a year. I watch them all again, but I think for me, Robert Pattinson more so than Daniel Radcliffe. But if you're saying Robert Pattinson versus Harry Potter, then I'd have to think about it.
Fair enough. I mean, to me, I'm going to be honest. Radcliffe seems like a cunt, and maybe a good cunt, but like,
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Oh no! Can you mute and unmute? Can you hear me now?
Something happened.
Can I get someone in the audience? I can hear you. Audio is good. Okay, the audience can hear both of us.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you if you can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Happened. Why would something happen like that? Why would something happen to this boomer like that? So unfair. Oh, no.
I'm going to take a caller. Maybe like it'll jar.
I can hear you both.
I could hear whoever that was.
Okay.
That's strange.
What if I log out and log back in again or something?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right, I'm going to leave the room and then I'll come back in.
Okay.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah. Hey, Scott. How's it going?
Dude, this show's going great.
I'm having such a good time. Yeah. I hope he gets back up. Yeah. I prepared quite a few questions. But
I know, like the one question, I don't know if you've ever watched Jim Jeffries where he does the whole thing about a dingo ate my baby. He's like, that was a real story, you assholes.
I did know that. Yeah. I was aware of that, unfortunately. I'm that into true crime. Can you hear me now, Monty?
Hold on. I think I'm coming back.
Okay. Perfect.
And
you can hear?
And we're back.
All right. We did it. I don't think it's you. The platform's still really glitchy and we have the beta test for the video feed, so it's a lot. It's a lot.
You can
It's
blame
a
me.
lot.
I can take it.
No, I think we just might be like competing for some of the bandwidth with all that porn out there, all that
is there
high
porn
def.
on the internet? That's
There might be. I don't know. I
I've heard.
heard. My mom tells me it's all evil and bad, and I should just not be on the internet. So I usually just, except for this is all I do. All right, my next question: Wars or Trek?
Wars or Trek?
Yeah, Star Wars or Star Trek.
No way you would
See,
go with that.
I got you right off the top. Like now we know neither. Apparently,
Yeah, kind of. Neither. I really don't care. I'm sorry. I've tried and it doesn't get me at all. I tried to do the Mandalorian
Wow.
and it didn't get me. And I've watched all the
What?
Star Wars. How can you not? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But
If you like Batman and you don't like augmented awesome like Mandalorians, like that's insane. I just don't know. I
look,
don't know.
I'm not saying I'm right, but it's just something that I haven't really ever got excited or into Star Wars the same way that I have with I like Back to the Future, and I like I'm trying to think of maybe a trilogy one that I like that's kind of in the same vein. I mean, I like Harry Potter, and that's a little bit magical and stuff. I don't think anything in the
Right, the cold expanse of space. You're just like, nah,
space.
I don't want to know
I don't
anything about
care.
that.
I care about
Huh?
Earth and earthly things, and then
Huh.
magic.
Wow. All right. So would you rather go back in time with some magical abilities or go forward in time and be able to explore space and be like basically immortal and like endlessly regenerate like a time lord?
No, I'd like to go back in time. I'm quite nostalgic. I like the idea of going back to maybe the 50s or the checking it out, even like the 1800s, even the the Stone Age time, like everything. That it fascinates me, going and seeing dinosaurs and stuff. But I can't see any advantage going forward.
I totally stacked the forward. Like I was like, be immortal and just like a time lord, like be able to. And you're still like, no, just send me
No.
back with a little bit of
Yeah.
magic.
I want to go to the 50s and go and see Elvis perform.
Would you know how to dance if you were in the 50s?
I'd figure it out, and
Would you
I'd
stand
twerk.
out?
I'd twerk and
Yeah,
blow
you'd stand
everyone's
out.
minds.
You'd be put in jail on like some kind of psychiatric hold.
Yeah.
And that's how you would.
He dropped it like it was hot, and we had to arrest him.
Yeah, probably. I mean, in the 50s, you never know. With that much hair, like that is way too much hair in the 50s. I don't know.
That is?
I don't know. I imagine that everyone in the 50s had like, like a primitive version of was the hipster cut like 10 years ago, where everybody was just like high and tight.
Maybe,
but I don't know.
There was also like Grease, like the slick back. That was the 50s was that too. The greases and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. That would interest me more than going into the future, because I don't need to see Elon Musk running the interplanet connecting solar system.
You think he would? You think he's like anyone? You think if he was actually anyone, he'd be out there and we'd be like seeing his face and like, getting to know his baby mama, and like people would be jumping on her car and with her baby in there? It seems unlikely. I'm just saying. If he was really that guy.
I think if anyone in our time is going to be sort of that figure and remembered and stuff, I think it's Elon Musk.
Figure.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
The narrative.
It's all me making shit up. I'm an idiot. What do I know? But I think he has humanity's best interest at heart. I do. but who knows?
But he's just scared of AI. Like that's why he's like AI would get rid of me first. Like that. So I
Well,
have to
yeah,
be on the side of the humans whom I also don't like.
he's seen the Terminator. He knows where this
He
goes.
knows
So,
the singularity is coming. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Okay, so lizard people or Illuminati or alien overlords. Which would you choose to have?
Choose to have
Sure. Like if it has to be one.
alien.
Yeah? You think they'd be
Yeah.
benevolent masters?
The idea of lizard people and this and stuff is so just demonic and Sam Smith that I'm it just freaks me out too much. So aliens I can deal with because they're from so far away and they're living over there, but they come here and perhaps they I don't know we coexist and they're great and awesome and who knows, but the idea of lizard people or people. What's the one about giants living in the middle of the earth and anything like that? I'm like, I don't like that it's here and that we don't know about it. But aliens have to exist, don't they? Otherwise, it's too freaky that we're the only ones in the whole solar system.
Or they're magicians from the past, because apparently we have no interest in space or the future. So
They're magicians from the past.
maybe Merlin is actually time traveling.
Have you seen those photos where they go, this person's a time traveler because it's an old photo of JFK getting shot and there's someone there with an iPhone or something?
Yeah, I love those. I love those so much. I love weird conspiracy theories. Like the weirder the better. I just absolutely love it. It would be great if the world was fucked up in that way versus in the way that it is.
Oh, I've got a lot of comedian friends that are big conspiracy theorists and it's just endlessly entertaining what they've got.
Fantastic.
It's good.
Can you just mute and unmute again? Just we're getting a little bit of clickiness. Sorry to ask you to do that. Perfect.
How's that? Is it working?
Yeah. Nice. You have a good grandpa voice. That's good.
My grandpa voice.
Nice. When I try to sound like my mom or my grandma, even worse, I just sound like Count Chocula or some terrible, or like the Count on Sesame Street or like some Romanian, dictator that is about to cut heads off. Yeah. Like I have 1,000 pairs of shoes, but my people can't eat. That's what I sound like. So going back to a previous conversation, we were going to talk about cunts. And how Australians use that word.
So it's an interesting word because it's not as taboo in Australia as it is in America. I'm not sure how it is in Croatia or wherever you are. But you would call a good friend mate, like, hey mate, but you call your best friend cunt. You go, well, you cunt, come on, let's go, let's do this. So it's an interesting thing that it's a term of endearment almost in Australia to refer to someone as a cunt. It means you're closer to them than you would if you called them mate.
Nice, yeah. It's similar for the Balkans. Like I'm just gonna say it, pichka, which is pussy. And if you you would call your best friend, like if you're a man, you would come up to him and go like, pichko jedna, you fucking little pussy, come over here and give a big wrestling hug. But between women, oh, that's you're gonna get fucked up. Like your hair's gonna get pulled out.
If you say pichka to a girl, she's gonna think, oh, it's on.
Yeah. You're gonna get a 10-inch stiletto heel in your fucking temple. Very likely, it's not on.
I'm wondering if girls don't do it as much as guys, but I definitely know girls that say cunt and are fine with it and call each other sort of cunt as a joke and stuff like that. But it's the word is thrown around a lot. My mum says it, my she acts like she doesn't, but she does.
Oh, the things that our elders get up to outside of our view, hey? Like, it's scary to think about.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous.
So, I wanna ask you, are you a naturalized citizen in the US now?
I am not a citizen. I have a green card and I'm a permanent resident and I'm married to an American lady. But I think I can apply for citizenship now, actually. I just have been lazy. I'll do it eventually.
Okay, so this is my whole next stream of questions. Is the civics questions for naturalization in the US. You ready?
Yeah.
Wrong answers only. Like,
Okay.
if you tell me the right answer, you're out. Okay, what is the supreme law of the land?
Beyonce.
Nice. It's the Constitution. What does the Constitution do?
Confuses a lot of people.
Oh, right on. The idea of self-government is in the first three words of the Constitution. What are these words?
Shut up, idiot.
Yes, we the people. What is an amendment?
It's a dessert at Outback Steakhouse.
What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution?
Steve, Paul, Mike, Gary, Petra.
Which is one right or freedom from the First Amendment?
Oh, the right to arm bears.
Ah, yes. Nice, nice. My favorite one is speech. Uh, what did the Declaration of Independence do?
Make a lot of people get drunk.
I think that's factual, like historically. What is freedom of religion?
It is the freedom to practice any religion you want within reason.
I said wrong answers only.
Oh, is
actually,
that right?
no. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You can practice any religion or not practice a religion, which freedom from religion, which I thought was a cool. Yeah, join cults. Exactly.
So you're allowed to be an atheist.
You're allowed to be an atheist. You're allowed to be in an MLM. You know, multi-level marketing.
What? That's a religion? Multi-level marketing?
I think so. Come on. Do women really buy tights from each other for any reason other than religious? Like, I just don't.
I don't know. Never thought about it like that.
It's an in-group cult. Like, they get together, they have coffee, they sell each other dumb shit made in China by slave labor. It's like there's no other content to it. I don't think. I don't know.
This sounds like a Tupperware club or something.
Yeah. That's one example of multi-level marketing. Yeah.
Really.
I
like your example was tights.
Well,
you want these tights? Yeah.
It was like a whole case study in business how one woman started selling tights and they're LuLaRoe or something, and it became like this whole. Anyway, wrong answers only. It's just gonna get grim now if I talk about the myriad of ways that Americans have taken advantage of each other.
It's not those spandex things, is it?
Yeah, I think it's like
Spanx. That's what they are.
Not Spanx, not foundation wear or shapewear. Yeah, that's also made a lot of people very rich, including the Kardashians, who are now thin again. Do you have anything to say about that? You have a take on that?
The again part threw me. I didn't know that they were. Did they start off thin and then they went giant, like large, and now they're back? Is that what you're saying?
I think
they're like when the Backstreet Boys came back, they.
Right, or Back to the Future, I guess. Like this whole weird. We're Back to the Future. I think that they started out maybe normal, and then they had I think a lot of implants and things. Like, there's very much no way that they worked for those asses, and then seems like they got rid of their Brazilian butt lifts and so forth, and are now probably jacking a lot of that insulin drug, like that diabetes drug. So now that actual diabetics can't get that drug because everybody's taking it for
Because
weight
the
loss.
Kardashians are hoarding it. Jesus.
Because they popularized it. Elon Musk is also on it. Olympic.
For God's sakes.
For real. There you go.
I don't know about the Kardashians are such a weird thing because you instantly want to just dislike them and write them off as stupid, but they're a $10 billion company. You know, you got to look at that and go, why? And it's interesting to think that they've marketed themselves in a certain way. They've got the attention of people and kept that attention when none of them are overly talented. Like, if anything, there's no real talent there. It's a very, very interesting thing. I wonder if there's ever been a family back to the future, back in history that I could go and visit and that had the same sort of notoriety that the Kardashians do. Maybe the Kennedys or something? I don't know.
I think that Kim, once she did that whole thing of like, a bitch has got to work. Nobody out here wants to work. You got to work. I think it came off very Marie Antoinette. I think some people were making that compare, or at least like historically literate people were. I don't know.
I didn't know that one. That's funny.
But are they lizards, though? Is a question from the audience.
If anyone is, they are, and if anyone would know, it's what's her name? Geez, I've forgotten the name. I don't want to get it wrong and get in trouble. Jenna. Is it? What's her name?
Which one?
Well, Bruce. It was Bruce at once.
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn Jenner knows the truth, and whatever traumatic thing happened to him, her that has resulted in this fucking extravaganza is.
I mean, clearly they stole his soul and traded it to Satan for their fame, right?
Like gargoyles or lizard people or whatever it was, and they've sucked the life out of an Olympian, and now he's just like confused and scared and I don't know.
Yeah, and like dickless maybe. I don't know. Like that's the worst part to me. Is like you like emasculated an Olympian, literally maybe.
What is the lizard thing? Is it actually like that Kim Kardashian takes her suit off of a night and is a lizard underneath? Is that what it is?
I actually don't know. I don't know for sure. It's like those are waters that I tread in like very rarely. I'm gonna say, and never full swim because you don't know what's underneath, right?
Yeah.
don't know about like the full force of the lizard. Nor would I want to, right? Like, would you, if somebody came to you and was like, okay, in this hard drive is definitive proof of lizard people, and it gives names and dates, like, would you be like, I don't need this kind of trouble in my life. You better just take that somewhere else.
No, I'd look.
You'd look?
Yeah, definitely.
Whoa.
I want to know I'd like to know all the secrets. I'd like to know who killed JFK. I'd like to know, did the man land on the moon? I'd like to know, like all these things that people question and everything. It would be nice one day to know the truth about everything and what is the biggest cover up that has happened, because there's been one. We just don't necessarily know what the biggest cover up is. So yeah, I'd look at the hard drive, definitely, but
Jeez.
I'd be scared for the rest of my life.
We have to mute and unmute real quick again. Sorry. What about the hard drive that never surfaced of the client list of a certain Mr. Epstein?
Oh, nah, I don't want to look at that. Yeah, I think you kind of already know, and that is just gross. And there's guys on there. There's obviously more women, but there's guys on there. There's everything, and that's just a foul thing that unfortunately maybe fortunately got exposed, and he, but yeah, the Bill Cosby thing. There's a lot of those ones that I'm just like, yeah, for God's sakes.
Well, you wouldn't want to know if, for example, Bill Gates was a customer of theirs, and like maybe we could like not allow him to continue to make decisions in public health in the U.S.
No, because I don't think that we'd be able to change him doing the business. I don't care who went to Epstein's Island. I know that it was there, and I know people went, but I don't need to look at the list and go, "What, that guy? Why?" Nah, not that. I'm more interested in the conspiracy side of things and knowing the truth of is the Earth flat? Of which I'm pretty convinced that it's not. But who am I?
But
to
it might
know?
be hollow and full of lizard people.
Well, my favorite conspiracy of the flat earthers is that Australia doesn't exist and everyone from there are just actors. And to that I say, let's call my mother right now. That she is a terrible actor. There's no way.
Nice. But they would say like there's just like an endless amount of money to create whatever, and like unless she's in the room, do you even know you have a mother? How do you know you weren't hatched out of one of those Matrix like facilities that they're coming up with next?
Well, there you go. There's an interesting one. Would you take the pill or stay in the Matrix? Or do you want to know the truth and live in a dark, sinister world where you have to eat gruel out of a tin can? Like, to be honest, I'd probably stay in the Matrix.
Yeah, so you'd blue pill it?
I don't know. You'd think you want to know the truth, but then I think once you knew it, I'd probably be like that guy who tried to sabotage everyone and go back in as a superstar and go, "That has sent me back."
Nice. What if you already did that and you just don't have a memory of it? That's why you're such a successful actor now.
Oh, well, now you're fucking.
Yeah, like what? If you ever see your cat walking through the same part of the room twice like that, just like run. That's all I know about the Matrix.
Stupid cat.
Shit.
Well, I've got two of the same cats. I think that's what it is.
Oh, so you're fucking with yourself.
Yeah. I'm just making sure that I get deja vu all the time.
Perfect. So we've been talking for a little while. I'm just going to open up the lines. In the meantime, I think I'm out of questions. So if there's something that you wanted to let our listeners know about, if there's projects that are really interesting and inspiring to you, if you want to talk about your collaborations with Rob and how that's going.
Yeah, we're working on a movie together, Rob and I and John Cleese. You know John Cleese?
I do. I love him.
So the three of us wrote a movie together. Jim Jeffries helped write with us. He's in the movie. We've got Rhys Darby, who's a New Zealand actor who was in Jumanji and Yes Man and he was in Flight of the Conchords. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Yes, they're amazing. Fantastic. So I even love their music.
Oh, it's fantastic. So we're filming later this year in Australia, and it's all about the Emu War that happened in Australia in 1932.
You all lost that one?
Yeah.
See, I've watched everything you've done. We got to take a call now. Oh, you're not sharing your video. Oh, yeah, there you are. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to take a call from Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
I definitely want to say I'm going to watch that movie, guaranteed. Flight of the Conchords has been one of my favorites. Real Rob from episode 1, I was hooked. And I'm really excited because it's been, 6 years since season 2?
Yeah. I think they're starting on working on the 3rd season, but it'll be a while. It'll be another, year, maybe 2.
Man.
I was in that. Do you remember who I played in that? I played the homeless Ryan Gosling character who he dresses up to fool his wife into thinking that it's Ryan Gosling.
It's fucking awesome.
It was fun, man. Fun show.
Dude, it's been one of my favorite shows. I'm glad that it's coming back. I'm glad that you're in it. I'm glad. Yeah, this has been a fantastic podcast. I've really enjoyed listening. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's been fun.
Right on.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for calling in. Do you know what my other like dream team member to that would be? Taika Waititi. Oh my
I
god!
tried.
Did I fucked up his name?
Taika Waititi. I tried.
Thank
Trust me.
you.
But he's very good friends with Reese, obviously. But I think he's the most sought after director in the world right now. So he, you know, maybe 8 years ago we could have got him, but he's moved on. He's big time.
Yeah, he blew up with Thor, and yeah, I mean he's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he's got. Did you ever see the What We Do in the
The
Shadows?
Wilder People. Yeah, what we do in this show. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
shut up. That is my life. I love that so much. And
So
the
funny.
series they did such a good job with too. I love those actors
Series
possibly
was
even
great.
more.
That movie was so funny. That was what Chris Hemsworth saw, that he wanted him to direct Thor because of that movie.
I did not know that. That doesn't surprise me. Like, but I just like I think it's an opening scene where one of them is like trying to make a pot, and like they have hundreds of years to like master these like skills that they're learning, and he's still shit at it. That was like just this comedic moment, and just like everything about Vladislav.
I think in the first
vampire.
couple of minutes they argue over who didn't do the dishes, and they both like fly up and go at each for not doing the dishes.
Yes. And literally Vladislav looks like my uncle, and he's also called Vladislav. And I was like,
Really?
what did they do? Did they like meet you and like just steal your entire thing? Like what? Yeah, I love the shit out of that.
Well, he's
Jermaine.
fantastic. I love Taika's stuff. Very good. So Taika's done an amazing job of kind of bringing the New Zealand style humour to the forefront of the world, basically, and the Australian humour being very similar to the New Zealand one, but slightly different. We're really excited that we're going to be able to bring a new side of the Australian humour that you probably haven't seen since Crocodile Dundee. There's been definitely some great Australian stuff, but nothing authentic like that we're going to sort of revamp again for a modern audience, and bring out some of those just absurd Australian things that I think the world's really going to love. So it's going to be really fun.
Nice. You just mute and unmute again. Apologies. Yeah. That's going to be amazing. What did you have things lined up over the pandemic and the shutdowns? Were you affected by that? Like, how are you recovering, getting back to normal? Is that a thing you even want to talk about, or should we just leave it?
Yeah, look, everyone went through the same 2 years of shit, didn't they? But the movie did get sort of pushed off, particularly because Australia was so locked down. But it gave us more opportunity and chance to broaden the idea and get people like John on board. We didn't have John before the pandemic, but afterwards we did. So there was a lot of positives to it, and obviously there was negatives. But everything seems to be back to normal now, completely. So we'll just all pretend that 2 years of hell didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely ready to move on, and like I think a lot of people are. So I hate to even like ask that question, but it does seem to have provided a kind of pause in some people's careers where they've just come out with even more energy and like even more creative and interesting stuff. So whatever that was, like maybe it had some positive effects as well.
I think so. Maybe it was like everyone was. If you think about the pace that the world was running at before the pandemic, it was very manic. And I think the pandemic gave everyone a chance to breathe, refocus. And I think that's why people's work weeks completely different now than they were 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They've now, I don't need to live in the city and do that job. I can live there and do that job, and I'm actually happy with that. I think there's been a lot of positive change in the world, and the pace and energy and the just in general. But there was also it was a big shake-up. But sometimes maybe you need that shake-up to change things and have people sort of pop out. It was interesting seeing the people that sort of rose from the ashes of the pandemic. A bunch of comedians did really great online stuff. There's a comedian called Andrew Schultz who I like a lot, and he just built himself during pandemic, and now he's out doing massive theatre tours and stuff. And it's just very encouraging to see how people sort of harnessed creativity in those times and then brought it through. And there's a comedian called Bo Burnham. I don't know if you've seen his Netflix special.
Yeah.
I think it was called Inside. Oh my God, it was so good, just so talented, unbelievable.
Agree. Andrew Schultz, I find like his style seems to be quite controversial. I don't know, like controversial, but like certainly he's he likes to say some things that people are going to disagree with. Are you ever tempted to get more into that side of things, of like exploring some of those fissures in society or between men and women? Or
I don't like doing that personally. I like watching like roast comedy and roast battles and stuff, but I don't like doing it myself because I instantly feel remorse if I say something terrible. I did a podcast called Kill Tony, which is Tony Hinchcliffe's podcast, and it's all about roasting, and I had a really great time on it. But afterwards, I felt like a bit of an ass, and I kind of felt a little sheepish at some of the things that I'd said. So that kind of comedy's not for me. I think I'm a little bit just I'm not comfortable being the sort of shit-giving comedian that Andrew Schultz is very good at doing. And I like watching him do it, but it's not my thing to do.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like your style wouldn't. I don't know. It would seem really like incongruous, or if you like suddenly were like, look at me, I'm an edgelord. Like I don't know, it would be a bit weird. But I wonder if you get
It'd
pressure.
look like I was trying to be something that I'm not, because I'm not really that person. I don't really give people shit or anything. I won't let people give me shit, but I don't really feel the need to go out of my way to make someone else look foolish to get a laugh or something. I much prefer making myself look foolish for the laugh than someone else.
Right on. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. So one of the things that you talked about on Joe Rogan, and like bring us back to this flexibility of work and doing more stuff online, and how successful you've been with TikTok. You talked about like potentially moving to a cabin in the woods and like just going like, I don't know, pioneer style, or was that real? Have you considered that?
Did I say that on Rogan?
Yeah. Or either he was trying to convince you that it was a good idea. Like you said one thing and then it like just turned into a whole like mini conversation where you were like maybe talking each other into it. Like
I've had a fantasy since I was a teenager that if none of this worked out, or the life of my Western style life, Western living life didn't work out the way I wanted, I would just move to a remote island in Indonesia and live in a hut in a tree and surf all day. Which I might still do that. I haven't decided. I don't think my wife would want to do that, but that would be a totally fine existence for me. But I would just be off the grid then. There would be no phone. There would be no looking at comments on Instagram. There would be none of that. I would just be living a totally carefree life and stuff like that. But there's also it's interesting living in America, having grown up in Australia with a certain pace that Australia runs on, which is very nice to go back to, but then to live in particularly LA, where there's a fast going, there's a lot happening, there's this. I really like that uncertainty of what I might be doing from week to week. So I'm happy with where I'm at right now, but I could also just as easily live up in that tree in Indonesia.
Beautiful. Here, we'll take another caller real quick. IDK, you're up.
Hi. Yeah. Like I said in the comments, I identify as a conspiracy theorist, and my pronouns are told, you, and so. And I would like to know, you mentioned how there are a lot of stand-up comedians that tend to lean that way. My question is, well, because like stand-up comedy is one of my most favorite forms of entertainment. And the reason I feel that way is because I feel like you're the only type that gets to really actually tell the truth because you can make people laugh. So my question is, what comes first, do you think? Is it people that are conspiracy theorists that become comedians because they want to tell the truth? Or do they get into the lifestyle and then become conspiracy theorists from the influences?
I think probably the latter, because I think I think you realize that comedy is part of you when you are just starting to go through maybe adolescence, early teenage, and stuff like that. You think, oh, this is, when you're trying to find yourself and what kind of person am I? What kind of person am I going to be? And then you realize comedy's part of that. That's when that kind of spawns. And then once you start doing comedy full time, and then you have a lot of time on your hands, and that's when I think some of these people open up some of those doors that existed that were closed off to them. And if they worked a 9 to 5 job with a suit and a tie and a briefcase, they would never have those chances to open up those doors. But they do. Possibly some mind enhancing drugs open those doors up quicker. And then they like being able to, and like you said, have the freedom to explore some of those thoughts and ideas without being laughed at, perhaps at their accounting job. Like, oh, look at Terry the weirdo who always talks about alien spacecraft. If you're the comedian who talks about it, then you're suddenly interesting. So I think it starts with comedy, and I think it morphs into some of those more interesting subject matters because you've got the time to sort of allow yourself to explore those. There's a comedian, a friend of mine called Sam Tripoli, who he's such a conspiracy theorist, and everything he puts out there is so funny.
I absolutely love him.
Yeah.
I love his shit. Completely on point. Like, I think that there's a lot that slides in between, like a sandwich, like it's not all just bread. There's some ham in there too, once
Yeah,
in a while.
he's a thinker too. He's a smart guy, and he comes up with a lot of wacky things. But you think about it, you go, kind of makes sense.
For sure. And I mean, I think he's one of the ones that would answer your earlier question about who killed Kennedy. It was like the CIA, obviously, right?
Oh, but he'd have a deeper one. But it was
Yeah.
lizard people who were in control of the giants in the center of the earth that did it for the. He would have such a hilarious theory on it.
True
More
enough.
than a grain of truth. Yeah. So, and then the other thing goes with your room topic. From what I understand, good-looking women aren't funny because they don't have to work that hard to get laid. What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I don't think women have to work. Any woman needs to work that hard to get laid. I promise you, there is a guy out there. But the reason that there's often been some funny-looking comedian guys is because for necessity to get anyone's attention, they have to be funny. But I don't think women need to do that. And there's plenty of very good-looking. I mean, Lucille Ball was very good-looking, wasn't she? And then Whitney Cummings is
I
attractive.
was just going to
very
say
funny.
Whitney Cummings. Yeah. And Sarah Silverman, too.
Sarah Silverman. Those are two examples of possibly two of the funniest females of all time. And again, going back to what I said, neither of them have had children, So they've been able to hone their craft, do their thing, stick with something. They made a choice, or I don't know their personal lives, but it is something that I've just sort of thought about. And those two females, Whitney and Sarah, both very attractive, both very, very funny. Sarah Silverman, I saw her a month ago, and my God, she might be the best of all time. Like up there with, flat out with the Dave Chappelle's and stuff like that. She's incredible.
Yeah, she's so cutting, and she has such a like her staccato style. Like you're still processing the last thing, and then like she's on to the next. Yeah, I really really enjoy her. My mom would say they're all lesbians though, because
Probably, maybe. Who knows? Maybe they are.
They are
as for
working to get laid
conspiracy
then.
theories. Yeah, well, there you go. That's
Ellen's
just
pretty
that
funny,
way.
yeah.
Too. Yeah. Oh, and Rebel Wilson and Hannah Gadsby are both like on that side of the things, right? So
Oh yeah, that's a recent one for Rebel too. I think she just sort of came out like a year ago. Interesting.
yeah, she got fit, and then she like attracted this like really hot like kind of like fitness Butch Dyke, I guess.
Yeah. She looks really happy. I'm